Hi guys, Thomas Talking Ball here, and today we're going to be doing an Nrl Ladder Prediction for 2026 in particular. And to do this, I've gone to the good old page of Tier Maker to actually do this goddamn tier list. Now, obviously there's going to be a bit of rules to settle in before I make any sorts of judgment whatsoever. So, any of the information that I've gathered from the NRL to determine where their placings will be. The latest information will be from the 28th of January 2026, and as far as I know of, the last critical information I've known from that is that Latrell Mitchell and David Fafita from the Bunnies or Rabbitohs have sustained minor injuries, which hopefully they'll recover from in round 1. So without further ado, let's get started to the actual categories for this tier list. So, for first up, I got on the actual tier list is the Wooden Spoon territory, i.e. the team that finishes last. And yeah, no team wants to be that. No team wants to win the Wooden Spoon. Let's move on. So for the positions 13th to 16th, I put in Brother If you guys know that, if you guys know what I'm talking about, you know. For 9th to 12th, we got Bang Average. Those are the teams that just missed out on the top 8, but they performed a decent performance. They're just Bang Average, you know. Then I got Elims, which is from 5th to 8th. Elims I'm referring to is the teams that go to elimination rounds for the for finals week 1. For positions 2nd to 4th. Will be for I'll call them as qualifiers, as they are the teams that will be facing off against each other in the qualifying finals. That's including for the first place, and for the first place I just put Minor Prems because that's the team that will begin in the Minor Premierships. I will not be judging the teams based on where they will finish in finals, like for the grand final where they'll actually win. I'm not going to be counting that. I'll be making another video based on finals when we get closer to finals. But this is just for the regular ladder from rounds 1 to 27. And then, yeah. Last but not least, I'll be judging teams based on how well they performed last year, how well the team's going to be looking for this year. That's including for injuries, for new signings that these players have gone through, as well as the synergies that these teams will be performing for this year. I will be presuming. So. And for the top 10 teams I've gone for, I've had to actually calculate how many games they would hypothetically win at to actually determine where the positions will be. So, because honestly, the top 10 the teams in the top 10 were quite difficult to judge. But all that set aside, let's get started into the actual list, shall we? So first up, for the Wooden Spoon territory, I've actually gone for a team that a lot of people have actually gone with as well, surprisingly. I thought it was a hot take for me to say this, but apparently it's not a hot take. And that is the North Queensland Cowboys. So, the reason why North Queensland Cowboys would be on this list is because, the only real signing they have is Reed Marnie from the Bulldogs. And Reed Marnie is not much of a huge improvement compared to Reece Robson, who's now gone off to Roosters. Reed Marnie is more penalty giving prone. He's more likely to concede penalties. He's a little bit grubbier and he's a little bit messier when it comes to actual performance. And I don't think he really helps when it comes to actual synergy within the club. That's not even mentioning that the Cowboys were among the worst teams defensively last year. They conceded so many points, and the only reason why they're actually performing decently to make it making it 12th for last year was because of their attack. Because their attacking form was actually decent. So, yeah, and I just have a feeling that that team's not gonna improve, while other teams will definitely improve on. And imagine if especially during Origin period when Tom Dearden, Ruben Cotter, and Jeremiah Nanai, three of the three better players within that team, all going off to Origin, or maybe hypothetically even worse, they get injured. The Cowboys are fucked. The Cowboys are absolutely screwed. So, in that case, in that case in point, that's why I've had no choice but to put them at Wooden Spoon territory. So, in 16th place, the runner-ups of the Wooden Spoon. Again, I think most people will put them in as the actual Wooden Spooners, but I put them slightly higher in 16th. That being St. George Illawarra Dragons. And the reason why that's the case is because St. George Illawarra Dragons at least have some young guns playing for them. They got Hayden Buchanan, who will be playing for centre for the Dragons. They also got Hamish Stewart. They also got they got a few young guns for them. That's the only reason why. Other than that, the spine is absolutely abysmal. They got Clint Gutherson as fullback, who is literally this close to disintegrating. That's how old he is, and he's definitely not in form as a fullback. They got Damien Cook, who, by the way, really did not need to be in the starting lineup last year. Jacob Little was already doing a good job as the hooker, and with Damien Cook fucking stepping into the spotlight last year, I think it really tarnished the Dragon's spine just a bit, especially that Damien Cook is the captain, so there's no way he's going to be fucking off on that. There's no way he's going to be leaving Dragons anytime soon. But I do think that the biggest negative impact I've seen is the fact that there's Daniel Atkinson, who just joined the Dragons from Cronulla Sharks, which may sound like a good thing, but he plays as a 5'8" usually, and he's been forced to play as a halfback by Shane Flanagan, and and I think the main reason why is to take the spotlight away from Carl Flanagan, who's playing 5'8" this year, and he played halfback last year. And Carl Flanagan is bang average, if not not good, when it comes to performance. I'm pretty sure nearly every single Dragons fans agrees with me on this one. I think the fact that he has been breastfed to hell by Shane Flanagan has been a good reason as to why the Dragons were not performing as well last year, and I don't think it's going to be the change. I don't think it will change at all for this year. So yeah, for all of those reasons, I think I have no choice. And yes, before anyone mentions it, Keon Kolomatangi joining the Dragons is a good start for them, but he's not joining until 2027. So from that case of point, I have no choice but to put them in 16th. 15th place, I have this Manly Warringah Sea Eagles. And yes, I know people might accuse me for being a little bit biased. I mean, you guys can see just right here with this amazing Storm jersey I'm wearing right now. But I will say, there's a good reason why I'm putting him at 15th. And that is mainly because DCE, Daly Cherry Evans, has left the Eagles to join Roosters for this year. And in replacement for that will be Jamal Fogarty from the Raiders. And Jamal Fogarty literally said that he's not going to be playing like how DCE was playing. And at first that may seem like a good thing, but I don't think it will be a good thing. It's because the Manly Sea Eagles are going to be solely relying on the spirit for Manly Sea Eagles. And I don't think that's what Jamal Fogarty will be offering. And yeah, it's not going to help with them too much. That, in addition to how old these elite players are for Manly Sea Eagles. You got Tom, you got Turbo, and Gerbo already pushing to their late age when it comes to rugby. Gerbo is gone way past his prime, so is Turbo. If any one of them get injured, they are screwed. And the only people that are gonna try and carry the Manly Sea Eagles will be Okolawatu. I might have butchered his name by accident, I'm sorry. And Jamal Fogarty. And that's pretty much it. I can't see any of the players that will be doing that much of an amazing performance. And yeah, I just think it'll be a slight decline for them for this year. With all those reasons, I have no choice but to put them at 15th. So yeah, sorry guys, sorry but not sorry. Screw you, Eagles. Next up, we got 14th place, and for 14th place, I have put the Gold Coast Titans. And the reason why I'm putting Gold Coast Titans for this list is because, yes, they had an abysmal performance last year. They were at many times close to getting the wooden spoon. And as a result, their coach Des Asa is no longer coaching them, and instead they have Josh Hannay as coaching them. And I think that's going to be the main reason why the Gold Coast Titans will actually perform a little bit better, because Josh Hannay, I think, has a little bit more experience at understanding what the team of Gold Coast Titans, of how the synergies of Gold Coast Titans will be. I think he has a better understanding of how his team will go, and I think he'll have a good course of how the Titans will go for this year. But in all that said and done, I think that's pretty much it. Lachlan Ilias from the Dragons has joined the Titans as possibly the halfback for the Titans, and I think that's a good idea from the Titans. I think that's going to be good improvement. I think Lachlan Ilias has proven himself to be a really formidable halfback, especially that the Dragons have won, especially that he carried the Dragons in reserve grade to be among the top in New South Wales Cup. So I wouldn't be surprised if he carries the Titans to a pretty solid head start for this year. But other than that, I can't see any further improvements. Tino is still going to be in Titans, so that's going to be a good thing. And also Cooper Bai from the Cooper Bai, I think, will do amazingly well as will do amazingly well for the Titans. I think he's going to do pretty good, but I just don't see any other further reason to push him up any higher. So for those reasons, I have to put Titans in 14th. And in the last category of Brother in 13th, I have Newcastle Knights, the wooden spooners from last year. And the reason why I got Newcastle Knights a little bit higher than last year is because they now have a new coach, Justin Holbrook. And I think that will be a bit of a good start for them. Good start for a new coach to understand how Newcastle Knights will be going. And that on top of that, they both have Sandon Smith from the Roosters, and they also have Dylan Brown from the Parramatta Eels. And considering how well Dylan Brown went from last year's Pacific Championships in New Zealand, damn, they're going to be a good team. I think they're going to be a good spine with Kalen Ponga, with Sandon Smith, and with Dylan Brown as the 1, 7, and 6. They're gonna be elite. They're gonna be an elite team. But other than that, I don't see any other further improvements within the Knights. They lose Leo Thompson from the Knights to the Bulldogs, and sorry about that. Just don't see any other further motivation as to why they'll be further than Brother Earth. So yeah, in that note, I have to put Newcastle Knights at 13th. In the bang average tier, i.e. 9th to 12th, starting at 12th, I've gone with the West Tigers. And now, I could rank Tigers a little bit lower than usual, especially after what the Highs have to do, what they had to deal with within the whole like Balmain and West Magpie situation with the jersey, which by the way is the best home jersey of the year. But that being said and done, I do think the Tigers have a good shout in actually being a pretty good team, pretty decent team. The reason why I'm saying this is because they got players like Jareem Buller, Jerome Luai, and Dwai, and Apikosa on the spine. I think that's a pretty good setup. Benji Marshall as coach, I think had to be the best thing that was the best thing that happened within the Tigers, because I think Benji Marshall knew exactly what to do. His heart has it in the West Tigers. If it went for him, I think Tigers would be wooden spooners again last year. But yeah, I think Benji Marshall's done a pretty good job when it comes to coaching the Tigers. I think he can only do better. They even got I don't think the Tigers had that much big signings, but they did get Bunty Afoa from the New Zealand Warriors, and we all know we all know about Bunty. He's pretty good, and I know one particular fan absolutely is addicted to him, and I like him as well. And I think he should get a fair chance into playing first grade for the West Tigers, since I think he'll do a pretty good job. All that being said, I do think that there are other amazing players within Tigers as well, like the May brothers and the Fainu brothers. I think they'll do an amazing job. I think all these players will do an amazing job in making Tigers a pretty good team. But all the other teams, I can see doing a little bit better than Tigers. I don't see Tigers being better than any other teams that I can think of for this year. So that's why I have to put Tigers no higher than 12th. So yeah, in that case, they're 12th. Next up, we got 11th, and for 11th will be South Sydney Rabbitohs, or the Bunnies, I'll refer to them as. So the Bunnies have had an absolutely abysmal year when it came to injuries. In fact, it came up to a point where they almost were at wooden spoon territory. But thanks to Wayne Bennett and also Latrell Mitchell for Indigenous round, that wasn't the case. The Bunnies were able to just shy away from the wooden spoon within that moment, but ended up in 14th. Now, if the Bunnies were actually fully healthy, I genuinely think they could have a better chance into making top 8, in which I think they have somewhat of a good chance of making top 8. But considering how Bunnies are consistently year to year with the amount of injuries that they face, including the ones I had to face literally a few days ago with David Fifita and Latrell Mitchell, I am doubtful that they will actually make top 8 this year. Despite them actually getting David Fifita into the Bunnies, despite the fact they got a couple of players into the Bunnies this year. And yeah, concerning the other teams, I can definitely see being a little bit better than what the Bunnies could possibly be. I have no choice but to put Bunnies at 11th. So how the hell do we do this? Is here. So yeah, Bunnies will be at 11th for me. Now, for 10th, this will be the first team that will be falling out of the top 8 from last year. And yeah, for these fans, I'm sorry. I know you guys like to complain a lot, but I'm going to say the Kenemy Bankstown Bulldogs will be falling out of the top 8. And the reason why I'm saying this is because yes, they do have Leah Thompson from the Newcastle Knights. I think Leah Thompson would do an amazing job with leading the forward pack. But I think the debate on the half situation will continue with Mitchell Woods debuting in first grade for the Bulldogs. And it's going to be a bit of a competition between Mitchell Woods and Matt Burden to play that halves position. Because obviously we know Lockie Galvin's going to be playing halfback for the Bulldogs in 2026. But the big question is whether Matt Burden will maintain his position in the halves for this year with Mitch Woods stepping into that spotlight. Because if Mitch Woods does an amazing job, yeah, Matt Burden's not going to be staying in the Bulldogs as a half, and the Bulldogs might force him to play center. And all Bulldogs fans and I, as well as many other fans, know how Matt Burden does as a center, and he does not do too well. So, and it's going to pain me to say this because I do like Matt Burden as a player, but it most likely would end up being that Matt Burden might be forced to play as a center. And if he doesn't do too well as a center, or if he doesn't want to play as a center, yeah, he will most likely have to be playing outside of the Bulldogs. And most likely will be going to Perth Bears, because his contract's at the end of 2027, but he could get an early release. And this whole debacle between the halves is going to be the main reason why I think the Bulldogs will fall out of the top 8. This half situation will be why I think the Bulldogs will fall out of the top 8 and reach 10th. So yeah, in that note, sorry Bulldogs, you're down here. And last but not least, at 9th, at the one team that will be just shying away from the top 8, and one that's actually surprised me beyond belief. That is the New Zealand Warriors. And I know people are going to be accusing me for going against the Warriors, like the Warriors have done it so dirty all the time. I know. It's really annoying. And I don't want to do Warriors like this. But from the top, in the top 10, I've calculated, on the possible games that the Warriors could possibly win, as well as the other teams within the top 10. I've calculated all games that the Warriors could win in, and they can only win 12 out of 12 games, and literally only one of those games is an away game, which is crazy to say. And that's the main reason why I'm going to be saying why Warriors will be falling out of the top 8. And that's because Warriors are completely bad in away games. It really doesn't help that the Warriors lose one home game in Suncor because of Magic Round. Like, genuinely, it's actually ridiculous how Broncos get an away game at Suncor. Screw you, Broncos, for that. But that's the main reason why I think the Warriors will fall out of the top 8. That said and done, I also do think that the injuries from last year are still slightly gonna put Warriors at a disadvantage, and by that I mean Luke Metcalf, because Luke Metcalf is still recovering from his ACL injury from last year, and can only return no earlier than round 7, which will temporarily put Warriors at a disadvantage. But I do think with Mitch Barnett coming in round 2, I think Warriors still could have a good chance in making top 8. And I want to be proven wrong about this. I think Warriors could definitely make top 8. But I think based on the games that they could win in, it's proving me otherwise. It's proving my thoughts otherwise. So, Warriors fans, I'm so sorry. But yeah, you will fall just shy away from the top 8. But I want you guys to be in the top 8. I promise you that. I really, really want you guys to be in the top 8. Please prove me wrong. At 8th place, we have Cronulla Sharks. So, Cronulla Sharks, I generally thought they would be at like 3rd or 5th on the list. But that's mainly because of, like, conceptually, every single player in their positions are top 5 in their positions. That's like the main reason why I genuinely thought they would actually do a pretty good job. That, and they also have a pretty easy run for the draw. But based on my calculations for the amount of games they could win and lose, genuinely, I just think, yeah. Apparently, I didn't expect them to lose a lot more games than I thought they would. But yeah, that's done and done. When it comes to the actual team itself, the Cronulla Sharks haven't really got any like significant new signings, but they did lose Ronaldo Mulitalo from the winger position, as he done his ACL in the Pacific Championships, which is rough. But yeah. With Ronaldo out, that low-key destroys 33% of the offensive tactic that the Cronulla Sharks could do. So that's why I think they'll be a little bit more disadvantaged. Yeah, genuinely. And also, they have the same problem when it comes to the Warriors, but I think it's less bad considering that they're from Sydney and like literally half the team is from Sydney. Half of the NRL is in Sydney. So yeah. But I think with the amount of home games with the amount of home games and away games they could play, they lose a lot of away games because they're not a Shark Park. So yeah, a good chunk of the Sharks wins because they're at Shark Park. And yeah, genuinely, yeah, there's gonna be a few setbacks that will keep him just that might risk them from falling off the top 8. But I'm confident that I think they should be sorted in the top 8, just by concepts alone. They're like every player in their own positions is like already a top 5. So yeah, they're pretty good. So yeah, genuinely I think with all that said and done, with a team that's not really changed that much, I have to put Sharks in 8th. Now in 7th place. One team that I'll be very excited to see for the top 8 will be the Redcliffe Dolphins, or the Dolphins people call them as. So, last year Dolphins got done really dirty with the injuries, same thing with the Bunnies, but I think Dolphins performed a lot better. Like, they genuinely could have made top 8 if they just won one match. If they won one match that they already lost to last year, they would have been top 8, and Roosters would have fallen out from the top 8. Which is so annoying. And look, it may be a little bit biased because I do think Dolphins are my second favorite team. I really think that the Dolphins could really be scary with Salon Cabo joining from the Broncos, already being more fit than he could ever possibly be, lined up next to Herbie Farnworth, and that's only because Cabo is covering for Jack Bostock, who's still recovering from his knee injury. Yes, I know Dolphins have lost JMK from a house accident, but yeah, which is a little bit rough. But I do think, Kurt Donahue can slot into that position a lot easy, and yeah, I just think that Dolphins are just this. I think Dolphins they have such a good chance of making top 8. So yeah, in case in point, genuinely, I think. Oh, that's not even to mention about the 4-pack coming back with Tom Gilbert and Tom Flegler and Morgan Knowles joining the Dolphins from Super League. So yeah, I have to put Dolphins in top 8 at least. And from the games I calculated, they'll be slotted in just right in 7th place. In 6th place, I have got the Canberra Raiders. And I genuinely thought the Raiders would be falling out of the top 8 because they lost Jamal Fogarty, and there's going to be a bit of a... And there's going to be a slight issue that I'll be talking about right now. So, they have Ethan Sanders covering in Jamal Fogarty as the halfback for Raiders in 2026. But they also have Kobe Black from the Broncos, who is a legendary icon in the under-19s state of origin for Queensland. Like, genuinely, Kobe Black is going to be absolutely scary. Like, he's going to be really scary. I'm telling you now. So the fact that the Raiders have him, right now, and that he's only, in reserve grade because Ethan Sanders is playing halfback. Yeah, it could actually lead to a debacle of which of who will be better within the halfback position. So, because hypothetically, if Ethan Sanders does absolutely terrible, Kobe Black will definitely be stepping into that spotlight, and yeah, that's going to be a bit of a... It's going to be a bit of a debate that the Raiders will struggle, in which it might set them back a little bit, and so that's why I thought they'll be falling out of the top 8, similar to Bulldogs last year. But I'm confident that they know they're going to go for Ethan Sanders and save Kobe Black for later. But yeah, and I think I'm confident in that the Raiders will have a good chance into making top 8 once again, just like they did last year. So yeah, for those reasons, I'm going to put them in 6th place. The last team that will not be making qualifying finals, but will be making Elim finals, the top of the Elims, will be Parramatta Eels. And honestly, they were one of the first few teams in which I was expecting to make top 8, because the Parramatta Eels really just had a rebuilding season from last year. Yes, they did lose Zach Lomax, the stupid idiot that decided that money was more important than loyalty, and now he wants to come back to Melbourne Storm. Look, I'll get to him later. But Eels still have they got players from last year. They joined last year, like Josh Adokar. Amazing addition, even though he's past his prime, he's still a pretty good addition to Parramatta Eels. They got Isaiah Youngie, a rookie, and he's going to play pretty well for as the fullback. They got Mitch Moses still playing as long as he's healthy. I think they'll do a pretty good job. They got Jack DeBellin from the Dragons, and I know Jack DeBellin really wanted to be a Dragons one trick, but he's been forced to play for Parramatta, and yeah. But I think he'll still do a pretty good job. Yeah. And who else? Oh yeah, Dylan Walker's done a pretty good job, and I think the full pack is also pretty decent as well. But I think the best addition to this, which technically has Parramatta in the cuck chair, because obviously he's going to be going to Broncos in 2027, is Jonah Pezzett. And I'm saying this as a Melbourne fan. I absolutely hate that Pez has joined Parramatta this year, because he could have been so good with us. He could have been one of us. But alas, he's joined Parramatta just for 1 year to play 5'8". in the starting lineup, and he's going to do an amazing job. There's a reason why I have him in my super coach for this year as vice captain. But yeah, he's gonna. I think he'll be a massive addition to like the team for Parramatta, and I think just in general, Parramatta is just gonna skyrocket pretty well. So yeah, with all those positive reasons, I literally I have him right here. Like literally have him right here. So yeah. So Parramatta is in 5th. They just fall just one off from making the top 4. So yeah, let's move on. Okay, so now we're getting close to the end. We are reaching to top 4, i.e. the qualifiers, the qualifying finals contenders. So at the bottom of this top 4 list, look, our streak has done so well for us. We've been on a streak. I think it's time for us to step back just a little bit. I'm putting Melbourne Storm in 4th. And I think other people have also said that Melbourne Storm are not going to do good this year. We've had back-to-back losses. We lost a lot of players. We lost Pappenhausen. We lost Eli Katoa. We lose Grant Anderson. We lose Jonah Pezzett. We lost a lot of players. It's a bit of a rough off season for us. Not the worst off season, mind you, but it's been a bit of a rough off season for us. But we got solutions. We got plan Bs for this. We got Suafalogo coming in as a fullback. I think he'll do a pretty good job for his first year as a permanent fullback for us. We got Nick Meaney and Tyrone Wishart doing that last year in Melbourne Storm before they flee to Perth Bears. I wish them the best of luck for that. But as for now, they'll stick with us with one last final bang. And then Stefano, I think it's going to be better than he was last year. He really did a good job post-Origin. And I think he'll do a lot better. He'll do a lot better, I think. I think when it comes to performance, as well as not talking more than he could actually chew, I'm watching you, man. But I think still, calculating on the amount of games that we could win and we could lose, it is still not enough for us to be at the top, And I think there's 3 other clubs that I think could be just that 2 clubs I know that are definitely better than us, and 1 that could be better than us based depending on what could happen. But that's all I have to say for my club, for Melbourne Storm. So lads, I'm sorry. I really want us to be at the top. I really do. I want to be a biased bastard, but we're gonna be 4th. We'll be 4th. A 4th is good enough for us. Next up, we got 3rd place. And this is the one team that was somewhat unsure, but I think they'll do slightly better than us. I think the chances of them being better than us is slightly higher. And that's Sydney Roosters. Now, Roosters last year were actually somewhat inconsistent. They had some games where they were doing absolutely terrible in, but they also had games and they were absolutely doing amazing in. Ever since their game, from the first 2/3, they've been very hit or miss, especially with a couple of misses. But at the last third, especially when their match against Dolphins in Indigenous round, they dominated them. They completely dominated Dolphins. And then they dominated us when we were playing half a reserve grade team. And they were also dominating Bunnies. They also dominated Bunnies in the last regular round. And then they got absolutely wrecked by the Sharks in finals. You see what I mean? They're very inconsistent. And I think the main reason for that is that they are a team that solely relies on momentum. And also, a good reason as to why they were playing inconsistent, because there were a lot of players that dropped out last year, and they had to get a lot of rookies, Robert Toya, Mark Nawaqanitawase, Hugo Savala. You name it, there's a lot of players, a lot of rookie players that joined. Yeah, a lot of rookie players that joined that joined in the Roosters, and But the fact that the rookies were actually doing a pretty good job last year they can only be really better. Rob Toy is still going to be one of the best centers. Mark Namogini will be one of the best players. Might actually be one of the best players of all time, low key, because he's literally Marky Monk's actually insane. From his 2 years in regular rugby league, he's actually insane, and I think he can only be better. And also, what is it? Dally Cherry Evans has also joined the Roosters, which is a bit of a weird choice in my opinion. But I think his leadership, I think his experience will really get the Roosters into building up the confidence once again. And I think genuinely they'll perform a really, really good job, especially such a good job that they'll reach right in third. The team that I'm going to be putting in second will be Brisbane Broncos, and honestly, Brisbane Broncos and Penrith Panthers could be interchangeable because there's a lot of games in which they could definitely win, and I'm pretty sure like for all four of the teams, Broncos, Panthers, Roosters, and Storm, I assumed that nearly all of the home games would be won. They would win because they're just that good. But I'm very confident that Broncos would definitely win all of their home games because that's how good they are. And listen, they have Reece Walsh, who's actually so insane. There's Reece Walsh. There's Dean Mariner. There's Dean Mariner, who I'd say is a little underrated because he's actually been such a good player for like both as a center as a winger. There's Katoni Staggs, obviously like one of the best centers. They got Adam Reynolds and Ben Hunt. Obviously, they're gonna be retiring sometime soon, but you know they're still pushing on. Ezra Ram's still a good 5'8", despite him not being a good person in real life, but we don't talk about that. We got Payne Haas, obviously the best prop in rugby league right now, and we got Patrick Carrigan still. Like, what is it? The whole the Broncos in general is just too good in general. The one thing that makes me put Broncos as second and the other team at first is that, like the Roosters, I think Broncos solely rely on momentum. Well, not solely, but they mainly rely on momentum. Like, if they're doing good, they're gonna dominate. If they're doing good consistently, they will dominate the opposing team. They did that for us. They did that against us for grand final. They did that against the Raiders. They did that against Penrith when they actually started scoring. And yeah, they're just that good. They've just been so dominant, especially when there's momentum in the field. And I think that's going to be a lot of momentum for the Broncos. I think, despite the fact of this dumbass rule, of the kickoff rule, despite the dumbass kickoff rule that will exist, I just think that the Broncos will actually still be second. I think they're just that good in my opinion. So, in that case in point, I'm putting Broncos right in second. And on the first place, I'm just like, what else can I say? What else can I absolutely say? Penrith Panthers, like, the only reason why they only reached 7th last year was because they lost Jerome Luai and they lost a couple of other players from the last few years to other clubs because that's how good Penrith were and they just needed to get nerfed. But this time, I don't think Penrith really lost any significant players. They've only lost Liam Henry to Bears in 2027, and I think that's it. I could be wrong. But genuinely, I can't think of any I really can't think of any faults other than the arrogance from the Penrith fans. But yeah, I literally can't see any faults. Nathan Cleary is still good. What is it? Biz is still one of the best wingers. Liam Martin's still a pretty good second rower. Dylan Edwards, although I'd say very overrated, I still think he's a pretty decent fullback. And most importantly, Blaise Talagi and Jesse McLean were rookies last year, and Blaise Talagi joined mid-season because Jack Cole was not doing good playing as the 5'8" to Nathan Cleary, so Blaise Talagi had to come in. And those two, Talagi and McLean, they're just gonna do an amazing job compared to what they did last year. And last year they really did so good. So yeah, honestly, it's pretty good. I had no other option but to put them at first. But yeah, that's been from me. That has been from me, and this is what my tier list looks like. What do you guys think? Am I cooking? Have I cooked? Or did I not cook? Do I have the biggest ball knowledge ever, or do I have the littlest ball knowledge ever? I really want to see what you guys' thoughts are for my tier list. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Yeah, that's all been from me. Sayonara.